Hello YouTubers, welcome to my channel. In this video, I'm going to show you how I provided electrical power for my mobile GoPro cameras on my 2018 Honda Goldwing. Therefore, I won't have to rely on the shortness of the batteries. Hello my fellow motorcyclists. If you followed any of my videos in the past, you know that I use a helmet camera, a camera that's mounted to face me, as well as a rear-facing camera to record things coming up from behind me. My problem was in the past, these cameras would die at different moments along the way, and I would lose that footage. Today I will show you how I wired these cameras to have power all the time during my entire video sessions. I started with these items that I ordered from Amazon. You can see the names of the items that I bought and their prices listed above. I ordered a set of two dual powered USB supply items here. This is the blow up of the single item, but there was two in the package. This is what it looked like when they arrived in the boxes, so you can get an idea of what you're dealing with. I ordered two separate 3BR Power Sports adapters that will go to the rear facing camera and a camera that faces me. I bought a different wiring adapter for the one that will be on my helmet camera, since I already have a media mod. This is what that cable looks like outside of its packaging. It's only 6 feet. That should be plenty to reach my helmet camera. As with any of these applications that you're trying to install, the first thing you want to do is set the motorcycle up on a center stand and remove the seat and the side cover so you can access the battery. For those of you who have not watched my videos in a while or have never seen my previous videos, the seat bolts are located right beneath here. It is a 6mm hex head tool. Be careful when you're unscrewing this. In my case, because I have wires running underneath that, but in most cases, there's a washer attached that can fall down between the frame and the motorcycle. That, trust me, it'll be hard to fish out if you drop it. So I normally just grab it like such and pull it out with the washer. Do the same thing for the other side. After you disconnect the electrical connection on the right side of the bike, you can come here. Most folks suggest you put a piece of tape across here to keep the studs from rubbing against your paint. After you gain some experience, you know how to do it without worrying about that. So you grab underneath the seat, pull straight up, and slide it forward. And as you're coming forward, don't forget to let the electrical connection clear. The connector on the side of the bike. Okay, that's loose. Pull it out. Remove the seat. We're trying to get to the battery connector, which is underneath this fuse box over here. So you push this tab, pull the cover off. I have other electrical connections here that kind of get in the way, but you understand once you see the tab on this side. It actually latches on both sides that you pull it off. There's your fuse panel, and these are the connectors we're trying to get to that I wired other components to that are running the power to the cameras. Because the connectors are so short, more than likely I'm going to add to the wiring to this so I can run it back to the back of the motorcycle. If I have enough room, I may be able to place them in here, but I'll make that determination when I actually unpack the box. So you have direct connection to your battery, positive and negative here, and the thing have a a reducer in it that make it power for your cameras and what have you. Here is one of the two connectors I plan on putting on the bike. I have two I'm putting on, but each one of them has two connectors that I use. And as you know, I have 3 cameras I'm trying to power, and I have provision for anything else I may want to power in the future. But as you can see, their wires are very short. That would put this have to be installed very close to here, and I got a gamut of other wires down in here that I don't want to interfere. So I'm going to run some additional power wires from here to where I plan on locating these connectors. So I'm going to wind up running both of these to the same area. Therefore, I have 4 connectors I could use. I joined both positive wires from each of these things, each of these transducers together, and I'm going to connect them to the extended wires here by soldering them, which are later attached to these outlets here. That's going to go on the motorcycle. This is what the device looked like after I combined them together. Down here, soldered an electrical wire, and I'm going to put some heat shrink over it, and the outlet connections on the end. Always test your products before you do a full install. Make sure it works, because I found out on one of these doubles that one did not work, which is odd because if one worked, the other one should have worked. For the sake of expediency, I decided to just keep it off, keep on going to finish this project. What it looks like after it gets shrink wrapped and soldered. So now it's ready to be installed. So let me get on showing you how I installed this product on my motorcycle. So I realized to keep from messing with my fuse block accessory, I'm going to install these 2 adapters down in this opening there, and I can easily run my wires to them from other places. That'll keep from crowding up the area I plan on running them to, and my cables are long enough to run them all the way down to here. I ran the one wire from this connector, where there's 2 of them, but one of them didn't work. One underneath the frame, and it's going to come out to the right side of the bike behind this cover. I'll zip tie it to the frame later on. The other 2, I have one going underneath the frame here, that's going to power the back camera, and the one here, I'm going to power the front camera. So I run the wires through here and into here, and the other one will come through the back and into here. Therefore, if I have any extra wiring, I have a place to put them as I go along. But typically, with all the other wiring in here, you can't even see those new components. I placed the wires for my outlets to these controllers back onto the terminals on the underneath this cover where the fuses are. Then I put the cover back in place. In order that I run the wires from underneath the seat to somewhere here in the back, you have to remove the cover that's in the back part of the trunk area here underneath the seat. You have to take these screws out of this holder. In my case, because I have the airbag model, this is where my iPod will hook up back here. Connections are back here. So once you remove those 2 screws, you'll be able to pull off the panel on the back side of here. I'll show you that in a minute. And I'll show you why that's important. Then we're going to remove, since I'm going to remind from the left side of the bike to the right, we remove this screw that sits right in here. I'll give you a close-up of that in a minute. So to show you what I did, I ran this cable behind my lights. This is going to attach to my camera in the back, and I'll be able to shove it in between the seats over here when I'm not using it. They ran down behind these lights, underneath the seat here, underneath that cushion, into this compartment here, behind this wiring bundle, and down into the panel that we took the screw out. The speaker panel. Out of the speaker panel, it went into the underneath the seat compartment. I'm going to hook it up to the other piece we have here. Then put in the excess wires back there in the back. So that'll be it for the front, for the back camera. Now all I gotta do is hook these two pieces together here and run the excess wires back behind. To finish the back one, I'm just gonna simply put the screw back into the top of here that I showed you earlier. Put this panel here that's between the seat and the back on. Slide it back into place. And what holds that in place are these screws from, in my case, this iPad holder. All I gotta do is put the screw back in this way, line it up with the holes, apply pressure to the back side, the other end. And there, we are all set to run power to the back camera. Now let's do the front. For the front camera, I see that I can hook my connection to the other connection I have here under the seat. I can look forward to see how far I have to go with this cable. And for now, because I want the flexibility of being able to move this camera around from this place to another, I'm not going to do a permanent mount up front, but I am going to run it through the body of the bike. And the way I'm going to do that is by using my fishing tool to fish the wire from here through there. I'm start by running my tool up through between this panel cover up till I can see it up in front of the steering wheel. In this case, all we have to do disconnect this from that, then attach this to the foot of the tool, make for a narrower angle to go through. What I'm trying to do is make this as streamlined as possible for the pull through. And make the path as straight as possible. Once you find your end piece here, tape it to your wire, put it on through like this. Now, I had a hard time doing on this one. Don't know why, it was really difficult to get the connector through. But now you have one end here, the other end coming out. So this leads down here. Now I can take this apart. There's some things we have to do to the camera for the power, and we'll take care of that in a little bit here. And there goes the tool, and here's the connector. So I got to do now, the connector I have here, plug that in, and store it away. I got to make sure I have enough space up here to do what I'm going to do. I'll run it back behind here, and we'll attach it to the steering wheel somehow. And that for now, it's going to be here. I can run the wire to my camera, which comes out about right here. Just want to make sure it's not going to bind, so I will have to attach it over here somewhere to ensure that that doesn't get in the way. Slack, and now it's connected. It's a matter of just pulling the wires away and out of the way. I ran one of the wires for my connectors down under the frame and down here, and it's going to wind up sticking below the right side panel. Once you get all that stuff squared away, you can put your seat back on and test out all your stuff. Don't forget to reconnect your heat seat connector right here on the right side of the light before fully installing the seat. I normally simply make sure the connector's out, like such. Smack one is going around the frame. The back seat has hooks in the back of it. Slide the hooks underneath. You grab the frame like this. You can track your pin. Wiggle it all the way back. It's all the way back. See this grommet? Push in. One thing I do to make sure the seat's all the way down is I elbow it like such. That's almost guaranteed to clear the holes. Now you can take the seat connector, open this panel up here a little bit, slide it back under. Make sure the cab is facing inward. Lift it up. Snap right in. It's in. If you don't do this, you're going to get a seat heater warning in your dash panel. So we'll set in on this side, 6mm wrench, which is nothing bonding. Reinstall the bolt. And once the bolt's installed, we now push this panel back on. This panel has to go underneath the seat. You rub that back up under, line this up over here. These grooves in the back go into those grip slots back there. And then once it's in the slot, just gotta push them. This is something new because I have this thing out hanging out down here now. But you go right in place. Push this grommet in. Push the bottom in over here. Now I have my new connector right there at the bottom. So that's it. You do the same thing to the other side, and you're good to go. Now I'm going to show you how I installed the hardware from the 3BR adapter to the camera mounts for the GoPro. Kits come with this towelette that we're going to use to wipe off this area right above the opening here to the case. They're suggesting you use the original case that came with the GoPro. So I'm going to wipe this area off, then with the alcohol wipe, then attach the lower portion of this connector right about here. Where you see the arrow with the bolt, and that little shape part's going to point down towards the opening. So I'm going to attach that, and then we'll come back. Note, make sure you let the alcohol dry and don't touch that area with your fingers while it's drying, or you don't want your oil from your fingers getting in there. So our next step will be to remove the backing from this and attach it onto here, like such. Move the backing like this. As you can see, I'm applying steady pressure on this. The back of this panel is open, so you'll be able to get inside of it. The bolt is on this end. So you're going to keep applying pressure for about a minute. And the theory behind this is the plug that you already see me wire to the motorcycle is going to plug into the camera here. And this little cover is going to come on here. We're going to put the camera back into the case. And this cover is going to go on to this bolt, swing into place, and hold the connector in place. And this got a little padded felt on it that will wind up making it weather resistant. Not waterproof, but weather resistant. So that's how it's going to look once the cable is through. And since I don't have my cables down here, I can't show you that, but I will on the motorcycle. That's how the case looked with the camera back on. And like I said, and it's going to wind up looking like the example here, where the cable's going to run through it. And then what we're going to wind up doing once we get the cable in, we're going to attach this. Cable's going to come out of here, and we're going to screw this little plastic piece back on. Now, the smaller piece should go down towards the bottom to create a little bit of leverage for you. But that's how it's going to work. You don't have to tighten this too tight. So there you have it. Once I put the cable through, it'll be good to go. Here's the final project setup. And as you can see on my rear-facing camera, on the front rear-facing camera, it is on. And from that, you can see that it is getting power. That's it there. And then on the helmet cam, I have a connection coming from up there to here. And I can have it going while I'm riding. And you can see on here, it too has power. And lastly, your rear-facing camera is in place. You can see them all in a row here. And if I press the screen, you can see it too has power. So there you have it. Other than fishing the wires to the front, was a fairly simple setup. Enjoy your motor vlogs.